Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and Star Trek Discovery is no more. I just finished season 1, episode 7, and I watched this thing stone cold sober. So I don't think on the first couple episodes I was doing the Discovery bit where I drink whiskey while watching Star Trek Discovery. I think I started on like the second or third episode I watched out of the 2 seasons, and I'm always very worried about drinking. I don't drink much, so I make a bunch of rules for myself. You know, you can't drink on consecutive days, um, and I always get very guilty. So I end up doing a lot of things when I'm drinking, like I will do dishes, take out the garbage at like 3 in the morning, and you know, I just try to be very, very responsible. But last time I left the garage open all night and the interior door was not locked, so I'm calling a halt to Star Trek Discovery. I will still be reviewing Star Trek Discovery because I really, really like it. And so this was season 1. It's I actually I first saw Mud in the short trek, which was a pretty good short trek. And then when he was in the scene where Lorca and Ash Tyler are in the Klingon prison, I didn't expect to see him again. I thought that was just like I thought it was just like a little cameo. So I had no idea he was going to be, you know, in all of one episode and do a really good job. So this episode is a time loop where Mud is trying to steal Discovery and sell it to the Klingons, and actually gets pretty close. But this was interesting for 2 reasons. Number one, even though he had this amazing technology to create a time loop, he still was flummoxed by not understanding new technology that he didn't know existed, i.e. the spore drive. Wait, I didn't use the IE correctly. Just take out the IE and just say the spore drive. And then the other thing that I liked is, you know, time loop episodes have been done in lots of different sci-fi shows. But this one, they decided, usually the time loops, they're very plotty. They're very logistical. You know, it's just a little puzzle to solve. But they decided to do something really, really interesting and get into character growth and character moments, which is interesting because everyone but one person is resetting every 30 minutes when the time loop goes again. The only person who is not getting, well, he's getting reset, but his memory is not getting reset, is Stamets, the Spore guy. Why did they? I have a question. The spore drive was being developed on another ship, right? It was that ship that got all twisted up. And then they said, oh, well, we'll just have our spore guy continue the research. It's like, why did you have a spore guy? Why did you have it? It's like in the first Avengers movie where, you know, we've seen Clint Barton we saw him in Thor, and then, you know, he was just being like a regular SHIELD agent. And towards the end of the first movie, I think it is Black Widow, either Black Widow or Nick Fury. They look at Clint Barton, who is a regular SHIELD agent. He just uses a bow sometimes. And they go, you got a suit? And they're talking about a superhero suit. And he goes, yeah. And then he goes, well, put it on. And I just would have been like, wait, what? Why did you have a superhero suit? You're not a superhero. You shoot bows and arrows. Everyone else who's a superhero has, like, at least, I mean, superhuman. You're just, I mean, you're good. It's kind of weird that you had a superhero suit. So anyway, this one, they were doing some growth with Michael Burnham, specifically her having to deal with kind of normal things because she's not really prepared for that. We saw her, you know, as being the super alpha first officer on the Shenzhou. And then we saw her start an entire war. And we've seen her be a prisoner, and we've seen her do lots of crazy stuff. But we've never seen her be normal. So it's actually very endearing to see her at a party in 10 Forward or whatever they call it on the Discovery. And she's a wallflower. She's nervous, and she's having Tilly, who is usually the super shy, awkward, weird one. But apparently Tilly's kind of a party girl. So Tilly is very much at home and a little... I always laugh when they're shooting party scenes in movies because, number one, they'll like dial the light down, but just barely. As you can see from this photo, it's a very bright party. And it's supposed to be like a nightclub type of environment. The other thing is you have to think that there's no music playing while they're filming this. So it's just a bunch of mostly extras in something that's lit about as well as the average American living room, dancing to music that isn't there. And of course they're continuing to do the Kelvin timeline, J.J. Abrams stuff where you have popular songs from the late 20th and early 21st century amazingly being played 200 years in the future. Okay. But it was good. I really like this. This is taking a tropey, plotty, logistical, generic sci-fi plot and then making it to advance a character in her growth of, being more human. I thought that was fan-friggin-tastic. The other thing so it's kind of weird watching season 1 when it came out like a year ago, and like I know all the secrets. I've seen season 2 where they talk about what happened to Ash Tyler. I've also read the Wikipedias on Ash Tyler and whatever his orc or whatever his Voke, his Klingon form. But then there was a real Ash Tyler. But then they were surgically stitched together. I've read it like 3 times, and I still don't understand it. I don't understand if it's a Klingon. I thought it was just surgery that made a Klingon look like a human. But then there was an actual human named Ash Tyler, and they took his psyche and they imprinted it onto Voke, who had surgery to look like him. If you're going to get this so metaphysical, why didn't you just say, we have this ritual and we can put Voke's consciousness into Ash Tyler's body because we did something, he's brain dead now, whatever. Seems a bit overcomplicated. The other thing is Lorca, who, when Star Trek or season 1 came out and everyone's like, oh, Lorca, he's not a Starfleet guy, he's so evil, he's so bad. And he is a hard case, but honestly, he reminds me of tons of staff NCOs and officers I've known in the military. And just being a hard case doesn't mean you're evil or bad. It just means you're a hard case. There's even this kind of interesting thing where he's a hard case to everyone, and then Stamets just basically just goes like, whatever, soldier, I'm an explorer, I didn't join the military. And then Stamets Lorca always just responds like, like it's almost like he's weirdly into Stamets' belligerence. But Lorca just seems like a solid, gruff officer. Mudd is really, really good. I'm not a big fan of the original series. When I was growing up, my dad would always watch it, so I know Mudd's women and something, and he had a vest. I don't care. One thing I did notice is a surprising amount of bald spot by Rainn Wilson. Rainn Wilson's always had weird hair, but it seems like they've always kind of combed it, because you can cut angles to not show it. And it was just like in every third shot. It's kind of weird to see bald spots on not totally, you know what I mean? Like he's got a lot of hair, but then he's got a big bald spot and they don't do anything with it. It's just kind of weird. But he was really, really good. Like I said, I like Lorca. I know Lorca is like a mirror universe guy, but honestly, I'm in the middle of season 1, and it is nowhere near as dark as people describe season 1 being. This was a pretty standard Star Trek-y plot, and they did some cool stuff with it. So I'm very, very happy with this series. I'm really glad they got a season 3. I feel like if they got a season 3, they'll probably do a season 4. And I'm just kind of wondering what kind of show it's going to be in season 3 with that really low budget we're seeing even in the middle of season 2. Budget-wise, this one was kind of moderate. Like I said, the other ones definitely seemed like movies. This definitely seemed like a TV show. In fact, this is probably the cheapest season 1 episode Very, very few people in any kind of special effects makeup. Saru is barely in it. It's just the human characters with no makeup. There's a little CGI space whale. It's actually pretty well done. It's like borderline seemed like it might have been like a giant prop, but I just know for a weekly television series they didn't have time to do a giant prop like they did with Jabba the Hutt and Return of the Jedi. So I like it, and everyone else has been saying they go, "Oh, you just like it because you're drunk." Well, I'm stone cold sober, and I love this episode. So thanks for watching, and let me know what you think about this review, and I'm going to experiment with something tomorrow. So there's this movie called Triple Frontier, and it's about some like ex-special forces guys, mercenaries, robbery in the jungle, something drug cartels. I'm going to review it because it looks super cool. I think it has Oscar Isaac, Ben Affleck, a couple other people I recognize. So, but I've pretty much hewn to, well, no. I'm going to look at the, what do you call it? The comments. And people were like, no, don't just do regular movies. Because if I was doing regular movies, I definitely would have done a review of Velvet Buzzsaw, which is also on Netflix right now, which is awesome. I think I should stick to the, superhero and sci-fi. And yeah, good fences have good neighbors. And I don't want this just to be I don't want me to be reviewing old DVDs of The New Adventures of Old Christine, Season 2. So I think I should focus. Let me know if you want me to do that triple canopy, whatever it's called, Triple Frontier, or just stick to superhero and sci-fi TV shows and movies. Thanks for watching. Bye.